Okay, can everybody see my screen okay? So we talk about math and language arts. We call them our academic core curriculum. This is because math and language arts are the two programs that we offer that are aligned with state standards. And so when your children are enrolled in math and language arts, you can know that they are going to be covering all the materials and things that they need to know for that grade level. So these were a few questions that have kind of come around with math and language arts that we're going to cover today. So hopefully if you have one of these questions, you're feeling relieved because we're going to talk about everything today. So the first thing is going to be how to enroll your students in math and language arts. If you haven't done that yet, that is the first thing that you need to do. And we're going to kind of talk about that on the next slide. The next one is going to be how to complete a placement assessment if you want to determine your student's correct level. If you're new to our program, I know coming from public school or different homeschool programs, everybody's a little bit different. And because our program aligns with the Virginia state standards, we are a little bit different too. And so we provide these guides to help you with placement, but they're not necessary. You can always just start your student in their grade level and then see kind of how they're doing as they get started. We're going to talk about how to create a formative account, and formative is the platform that we're using this year for math and root words in language arts. This will be auto-graded, which really simplifies things. We're going to talk about how to use our printed curriculum. If you feel like your kid is online too much and you want to break from screens, we can talk about how you can do some offline learning and assessments if you want to do that. We'll talk about the Monday to Wednesday math lab as well as the language arts review class to support your student throughout the year, what those will look like, what your students can expect. And then the last thing is going to be our upcoming STAR assessments and academic supports. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is how to enroll in math and language arts.
Hey,
I
Coach
want
Melanie,
you to, oh yeah,
sorry to interrupt, but can you start with just explain why we decided to build our math and language arts program using the Virginia state standards? Some might be seeing this for the first time, and then it would be helpful for them to understand like why we made that decision.
yeah, absolutely. So the program was developed to align with the Virginia state standards for a few reasons. So first, the state of Virginia has consistently produced really high academic outcomes for a long time. In fact, if you look back, their outcomes for over a decade have outpaced many other states. So when Common Core was adopted and most other states adopted Common Core, Virginia was one of the few that didn't. And so they've just consistently updated their standards and consistently been producing great outcomes. And so, as a program, we decided to align with Virginia to build on that research that they'd already done that was outside of Common Core. So, you'll find that our program and our standards are rigorous, but they do cover the exact same things that the kids are learning all over. There's common things that we're going to be learning, like in math, you're going to learn about decimals, and that's no matter what standards you're using. But you are going to find that you're going to go a little bit deeper with the Virginia state standards. And I think you'll find the academic outcomes are going to be even better than they were, or even better than a different type of standards. Peter, is that everything you wanted me to cover?
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start with enrolling. Just give me a hand, like use your emoji if you are not enrolled in math or language arts yet. I'm going to see if I can see everybody over here and see how many people need us to spend some time on this slide.
Hmm,
I don't see any hands. Is there
hmm,
just a few? Shantae, tell me if I'm missing any.
looks good.
Looks good. Okay, well, that is great news. That means everybody should be enrolled in math and language arts. So, if you do need help, or if at some point, say you started your child in a level and it's not working for them, there is a way for you to switch their level. And we can talk about that on this next slide, where we're going to talk about our placement guides. If you weren't sure when you enrolled, if you enrolled in the right level, we have a few supports for you. So the first is our math assessments. Now, this looks like a course when you are in our course library and you enroll in it like a course. But these are the assessments that you would be doing to show mastery of our standards. So, for example, if you had a fifth grader, you would have your student do the assessment that's level 4. That shows that they've mastered all of the content in level 4 and they're ready for level 5. Once your student has taken the placement assessment and you feel good about that, you can unenroll in that course and then just enroll in the math class that you need. The platform won't let you enroll in both, and so you'll have to unenroll in it. We're hopefully going to fix that little glitch right now, but if you happen to encounter that, that's how you get around it. Our math assessments are rigorous. So I do want to always add the caveat that even if your student doesn't do as well on the math assessment, that doesn't mean that they may not be ready for that level. You know your child and your students the best. And so it's just meant to be a resource that covers all of the content and standards for the grade level that they would have just completed. You can always reach out to me on email if you have any questions or if your student takes that assessment and doesn't do very well and you're not sure. But for the most part, my recommendation will always be to start in their grade level because you just want to make sure that we start things out and see where they're at. Unless there is an academic issue or a learning difficulty that might be keeping them from being successful in that level. So our second placement is our language arts. And these have not made it into the platform yet. So we are sending the link. Right now, Shantae is going to go ahead and put 2 links in the chat. The first thing she's going to put is the user guide that will help you with enrolling your student in language arts and math if you needed that. The second thing is going to be the link to our readiness guides. Now, I call them readiness guides for the reason that I just mentioned. You're going to take the placement to make sure that your child is ready for the next level. So you can kind of see here for this level 1 readiness guide that it says, in order for the student to be successful in the level 1 curriculum, each of the skills should be mastered with 80% proficiency. So once the student takes that level 1, you'll be able to kind of see really quickly, okay, yeah, they've got everything from kindergarten, they're ready for level 1. Are there any questions about the placements or readiness guides before I move on? Okay, awesome.
So
We're going to get these in the platform ASAP, but for now, we will just send those links out. And if you need that, Shantae put that in the chat.
yeah, it came in really small. So this is the language arts assessments, correct? Do you want to
Correct.
explain briefly how to find the math? Oh, you already did. It's just under courses. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. So now let's talk about how you want to do your courses for math and language arts. Math and language arts are a little bit different because these are courses you're going to be doing on your own. And that is the most fun part, is that you get to decide when you do it and how you do it. Do you want to do it online? Do you want to do it offline? It's totally your choice. If you want to do it offline, you will need to access our lesson books. These are the same lessons that you would access online. They're just in printed form. They are in the print shop right now, and just as a heads up, they are black and white. If you want to print it yourself or print it in color, just reach out to us and let us know. We are going to add them to the print shop in color, but it is a lot more expensive, which is why we didn't put it in color in the first place. So just as a heads up, if you're like, this one's $20 and this one's like $70, that's the reason. Its color is kind of expensive. If you want to do all of our worksheet or practices within math are going to be informative. But if you wanted to do those offline, you could just use the worksheets that are linked in the lesson. One heads up for that though is we will not be grading the paper pencil worksheets. So your student could do their lessons offline using the lesson book and then log in just to do formative. And that still would cut down their screen time if that's something that you're wanting to do. But if you do choose to do the worksheets paper pencil, which is great, and that's totally fine, there won't be a place for you to upload those for us to grade. Are there any questions about doing it online or offline? Okay, great. Oh, I see one. Lisa, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So they can, either way, they're going to have those workbooks. Is
No.
that okay?
Yeah, so if they want to do it online, they just log in and do their lesson on the platform.
I see. Okay. And if not, then that's when we would get the workbook, or
Yeah,
we could possibly print it.
yes, yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so if you're like, you know what, they've been on the screen doing character core and I want them to jump off the screen for a while, these lesson books are there for you to say, hey, grab the lesson book and go do math or language arts off of a screen for a while, and then you can come back. Either way is the same lesson. Okay, all of the course resources that you need are available for you in a few different places. So within each course, you should notice at the top, there's a table of contents and a resources tab. The resources tab is where you will find the materials lists for language arts and math. So it's going to have like the novels that you're going to read this year. It's going to have all of the, like if you need a binder, scissors, glue, all those kinds of things. It also has the suggested calendars. Now we say that math and language arts is self-paced because you can go as fast or as slow as you want, But for language arts specifically, if you want to go to the language arts review class, you're going to want to keep up with that calendar because every Friday they're going to stay on that calendar's pace. It just means that you're doing a lesson every single day. So it's pretty simple to keep on that pace with the calendar, but that's where you'll find that. Also, the printable files that go for all of the worksheets, everything that you want to print, except for the lesson books, you won't see those in there, are going to be in that resources tab. At the very bottom, you'll see a link that says supplemental course downloads or supplemental files. You'll just click on that, and that's where they all are. Let me know if there's something that you need. Specifically, the activity books aren't in there right now, but the activity books are the same thing as the practice sets that we just took all the worksheets out. So you still have access to it. It's just called something different. Are there any questions about getting resources for math or language arts?
So, Melanie, that's where everyone goes to print it. If they want to self-print, it's printed from the class, right? But then there's also the other option to just order it through the print store. So there are
Correct.
different options. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, they're linked in the lesson. You could print each thing in the lesson. If you want to print the whole file, this is where you would find it, is in this resources tab at the top. So explore that tab and just make sure you've opened up all those files so you can see what's there.
Good. And that's for math and language arts, correct?
Correct. And it's actually Character Core as well. You'll find all the original Character Core and the workbooks for this year in that same resources tab.
Okay. And here's one more question. The activity sheets are in the practice files, but named activity in the pages.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yep. In the very bottom right-hand side, they'll see it's called activity, and that's the one they need.
Okay. Thank you.
And if they want to email me for the activity file, I can send that to them until we get it uploaded. Okay, so you might be wondering what's the difference then between my coaching plan and the academic suite plan. And so we just want to differentiate before we go into each of the different services that are offered to make sure you kind of understand what's included in each. So with the coaching plan, you get all of the formative grading. So you will be able to do all of the formative math and the formative root words in level 6 through 8. And you're also able to get on the STAR wait list. If we don't have, it's kind of first come, first serve. So everyone in academic suite will be enrolled, but if they choose not to use it or we have empty spots, then you can get on a wait list with Coach Shantae. And she has that already started. There's already people on that wait list. So if you're interested in that growth testing that we offer 3 times a year, make sure you get on that list. So academic suite, you are going to have access to that same formative grading for math and language arts, but you also have access to the math labs. You have access to the language arts review classes and then grading for your language arts and then STAR testing. Any questions about the differences between the two plans as we move forward?
I just put my sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I just put my email in the chat. So if anybody is on the coach class plan and they would like to be on that wait list, then you can just email me there. Thanks.
Perfect. And then at the bottom, I put these little icons, one that says academic suite and one that says character core. As we go through, you will see the different services. I have them like coded, so you can look for your code and see which ones are included with your plan. So the first thing I want to draw everybody's attention to is our new pilot. And I'm super excited about this pilot because I have been waiting to put videos and more interactions into language arts for a long time, and math. It's going to be so great. If you have a 3rd grade student, when you log into the platform, it will give you an opportunity to do the lesson just as normal or to do our pilot. Our pilot is in our new format, which is basically a PowerPoint. I am such a visual learner, and Peter laughed at me when I made this PowerPoint because he's like, of course you made a PowerPoint. I'm like, I learn by seeing, and I learn, it's like that whole idea of multimodal learning. We're going to hear it, we're going to see it, we're going to do something. And with 3 of our different senses working at the same time, we're more likely to remember. So we have videos. If you love Coach Grace, you will see her in our language arts videos. If you love Coach Zach, you will see him in our math videos. So tune in and please take part in some of our pilot lessons. We do have a feedback form that is in the 5th lesson, and I hope that you will take the time to give us feedback as we develop. We listen, and as a school, I think that's so unique. As we're developing curriculum, we want to meet your needs. So please let us know what we can do to improve, what would make it more effective for your families. We're really excited about it. Oh, one of my favorite things is the value connection that we've added to language arts. This is huge, and you will see it in every lesson in the pilot. Any questions about pilot?
And I didn't laugh at her. I was saying I was like I was giving her an accolade because I asked her to do this less than a day ago, and of course she can't come just to tell you. She has to. She's a perfectionist, right? She wants it to be
Okay, but
good.
raise of hands. Do the slides help you follow? I mean,
Yeah, me too,
right?
by the way.
Okay.
I'm
If you
very
do
much
have
a book reader.
questions, you can email me. I am so excited about the pilot. I would love to have you participate. It's open for everybody, so you don't have to do anything. You just click on it in the lessons. All right, let's talk about iMaster Math. So we talked about this at the beginning. This is a standards-based math program where you work at your own pace, and we use short practices to gauge mastery. So our math program is divided into 2-day lessons. So you'll see one lesson in your menu, but that lesson should be broken up into 2 days. And let me show you what those days look like. The first day is you completing the lesson in the platform. So you're reading the lesson, you're doing the practice like activities within the lesson, and then after you're clicking on the link to do your formative. So that's all on day 1. You do your lesson, you do your formative. Are there any questions about day 1?
Or you could say you could also say you do your lesson and you do your practice set.
Correct, because you could do your practice set paper pencil. You could do it informative. It's totally your choice how you want to do that. But the practice set is the same both places. It's going to be a short 7-question. We call it an exit ticket, which just means, did I learn all of the information for this day? It is not a test. It is a practice. So when you go into formative, your students will see that they have the opportunity to take that practice twice. They get to go back and see what they missed. They can go back and fix their answers and get a better score. That's what we hope that they'll do. So let's talk about formative. I know getting logged into formative was a little bit tricky, and this is the bumpiest part, is getting the account set up and making sure your child's in the class. So the formative guide is in the chat. There are 2 ways to join the class. You can click on the link in the guide that matches your child's level, and then it will prompt you to create your account. Or you can create your account and use the access code that's next to their grade level. That will link you to our school. If neither of those things work for you and you still can't figure out how to get logged into formative, please email me because I can just manually roster you, make sure that your child's in the class. We just want to make sure before school starts, if you've already started this week and you're having trouble, this is perfect because we'll just get all the kinks worked out, and then next week after Labor Day, they'll be all logged in. Is there anyone having trouble with formative that wants to kind of talk about some of the things that they've encountered, or is everyone in?
Oh, Melanie, maybe we should mention that if you have multiple students, you will need multiple email addresses, right?
Yes, that is correct. So when the student logs into their account, it will be attached to their email. So I almost think it'd be easy to go into Google and create a Gmail that's just for your kid, informative, or something that you can have access to. You don't need for anything else. This is so your kids can all log into formative at the same time. If they share one email address, it will kick them out and it will think that they're the other student. So it's just easiest if they each have their own email address. Lisa, did you have a question?
Yeah, okay, so because I haven't signed up yet and I've got 2 students. So when I'm going in originally to do it, like I'm gonna put their one's email first to sign up and then the others. Like I'm not gonna use my email for anything.
Yeah,
Just
I would just do 2 separate ones. If you want yours for one of them and then a different one for the second child, that would be fine.
okay. Thank you.
And each day that they log into the math platform, make sure that they've logged into formative first. Otherwise, when they click on the link in the lesson, it won't recognize them. So it's almost like when they log in to do their lesson, just make sure they log into formative at the same time, and then everything will work seamlessly in the lessons. Okay, any other questions before I move on of signing up for formative? Okay, because the next thing is a demo. I'm going to show you what your kids are going to see when they log into formative. So inside the lessons, and actually maybe I should show you that first, of where in the lesson you'll see that link. I'm gonna go to, because we're gonna do a level 5, so I'm just gonna go here. When your student is in the lesson and they go to the record section, oh, I gotta log in as a student. I do that every time.
Mhm.
And they go to the record header here, they will see the link to formative. So every day they do their lesson and then they go to the record header and you can see those 2 options to do the practice. If they want to do it offline, that's the paper pencil. If they want to do it online, this is the link to formative. When they open the link to formative, this is what they will see. It opens up and it tells them the name of the practice. So this is level 5. The unit is computation and estimation. That's what CE stands for. It says this is lesson 11 and this is your practice. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. And you'll see here on the left-hand side, here are the 7 questions. Is this a test, students? I'm going to engage you for a minute here. Is this a test? Somebody unmute.
No.
No, it is not a test. This is a practice. So you should have a piece of scratch paper next to you when you're doing this. You are going to answer the question and it's going to give you a blue dot once you've answered the question. See how it's red, and then once I answer it, it turns blue. Now, what if I wasn't sure? If I was reading this question, which of the following produces a quotient of 6, and I don't remember what a quotient is? Anyone remember what the light bulb is when I came to math lab yesterday? Emily, what's the light bulb?
It's a thing that gives you a little hint when you press it.
That's right. If you can't remember what a quotient is, click on the light bulb and it will tell you. Think about how many times a smaller number fits into a larger number to find a quotient. Now, notice the light bulb has the number 2 on it. That means there's 2 hints. So I might click it again to get the second hint. And this is going to help me to figure out the problem because remember, the purpose is learning. So we want you to use those hints if they're helpful. Now, what if in this problem there was you marked it and you had a question about it? This little question bubble, you can click and send a message to me, Coach Zach, Coach Marissa, or Coach Leah, or Coach Gentry. You can send a message to all of us if you aren't sure about something, or if you feel like you need a little bit of help, or if it marked it wrong and you think you got it right. This is how you can communicate with us with Informative. So I'm going to go ahead and move through these and answer these questions. And the last thing I'm going to do, what do you think is the last thing I'm going to do? Camden.
Submit your answers.
That's right. Do I only click it once, Camden?
No, you click it twice.
That's right. It wants to make sure you're really sure. Now you could go back. You could change any of your answers before you click submit. Once you click submit, it's going to auto grade it for you. It says, oh my goodness, I got 86%. I've done this a couple of times. I know which ones I got right or got wrong. But one thing I want you to see here at the bottom is that I can retake this. I can go back and I can figure out what I got right and wrong by going here, and it gives me an explanation. It says you might have miscalculated by moving the decimal point too many places. When dividing decimals, it's important to consider how many decimal places to shift. So it's giving me a little bit of help to figure out which answer might be correct. So make sure you go back and click on the ones that are red and take some notes before you retake that formative. Okay, that's formative. That's all you have to do. 7 questions at the end of every lesson. Are there any questions up to that point?
Melanie, we have a question in the chat from David.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Looking at the assignments in formative, they aren't sorted by unit and assignment. So level 8 language arts is starting with unit 6 on his view.
Yes, it is so frustrating to me. And I reached out to formative, and the way it sorts it, it's like alphabetical instead of being in order of the way that the units are. So you can look inside the platform to know that NS or number sense will always be the first unit. Your student won't be able to work through the formatives in their dashboard very easily because they're not sorted. The best way will be to go through the link in the platform. So I apologize about that. I already reached out to formative. I suggested it as a dev suggestion. I was like, I should be able to organize these, and it wouldn't let me. I even uploaded them in order and then it redid it by alphabetizing. So I apologize. You can sort it by newest to oldest, see if that helps, but it likes alphabetizing.
Okay, thank you. That's good to know. So just following the links in the lessons will take
Correct.
them directly to the
Yep,
practice set for that lesson. Okay.
exactly. Okay, Emily, did you have a question?
Yes, so I don't think that all the formative kinks are worked out because I saw you take the lesson, and for some reason it said you got 86% right, but that's not what it showed with the amount of lessons that you had got actually gotten right with the dots showing it. So
Oh,
that's
so
big.
that would be a great one, Emily, to like leave me a note on, and I can reach out to Formative and make sure that they recalculate that, because I can't figure out, if their computer doesn't calculate it correctly, I can send that to them and they can override that. So please let me know if you notice that. Put a little note in that chat bubble and then I can fix it. Okay. We always know technology is going to never be completely bump free, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Melanie, we have a new question. Will the students
sure.
go back to the lesson to review while they're working on their formative?
Absolutely.
How do they do that? They just have like a different window open?
Yes. When they click on
Like-
the link, it will open in a new window.
Oh, okay. So they will automatically already have like
It
two windows.
should. If it doesn't, you can set that like to be able to copy the link and open it in a new window, but it should.
Okay, it should
The way
open.
I added it is to open in a new window.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next thing is for parents and kids is when you're in your dashboard, you will see the top one says your formatives. This is all the formatives in your level, but underneath that it says tracker. This is where you will be able to see all of your scores. One thing that's cool in the tracker is that you can sort it by the standards. So all the different important things that you need to know for your grade level, it's going to show you how well you did on those. So follow the tracker because remember, we want to see how you're doing over time. So quarterly, I will send reports, parents, to you if you're in the coached and academic suite that kind of shows how your students been doing in their formatives. This also tells us if the students are maybe rushing and going through these practices too fast and they're not really being effective. It will just kind of help you reinforce that learning with them. So make sure you check that tracker. Any questions about that? Okay, great. So that was day one, was doing your lesson and doing your formative. Shouldn't take super long because it's only 7 questions. So then on day 2, we ask that you review those concepts. So this is a time you can go back into the lesson, you can read over it again, and linked in the enrichment section is a fun, hands-on activity that you can play. It's a game, it's something you can do with your siblings or a parent. A lot of times it has cards that you're going to cut up. So this is going to be a more hands-on activity for you to practice that skill. There is also math facts that are linked. Fact fluency is really important to help you to be able to do problems more proficiently. Like you can work through things when you can multiply and divide things quickly. So you can work on fact fluency. There is 2 in each lesson. You don't have to do all of those. You don't have to do any of those. Day 2 is totally up to you, but I do highly recommend that you take that second day to review the lesson and do that activity. Has anyone done the activities yet this week? Yeah, Camden? What did you think? Oh, 2 thumbs up. I love it.
Are you
Mel-
talking about like the foundation week activities that we do at like the very end? Or like
Oh no, those are
beginning?
different, but those are fun too,
Oh.
aren't they? Those are so fun. So these activities are linked in your math lesson. So it's going to be in the enrichment section, which is at the very bottom. I don't want you to miss it. If you haven't done one yet, that's my challenge for you. If you're working on math already, go and open up one of those activities and do one before the end of the week.
I'll have to look into that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay,
Melanie, sorry, do you mind
Yeah.
just reminding us where we find the tracker again?
sure.
Thanks.
The tracker is going to be in the student dashboard, and it will be on the left-hand side. It should be under where it says formatives. And if you don't see that there, let me know, and I can always reach out and make sure through formative. I got this picture from them because they said this is what it should look like. I have a teacher account, so I don't have a student account to make sure, but can someone confirm that they see that?
Yeah, I see that, and it looks like they changed just a little bit because there wasn't a circle around it with what I saw.
Oh, so it updated? Well, good. Okay, great. Well, let's
Thank
go
you,
back.
Emily.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Math Lab. I am so excited. I love the Math Lab because I struggled in school in math a little bit when I was your guys' age. And I would have loved to have had a math lab that I could go to be able to, number one, I could go and do my homework with a tutor. So you could go to the Math Lab every day and you could be working on your formative and you could ask questions to Coach Zach and he could help you. Because remember, it's not a test, right? This is your learning, it's a practice. The other way that you could use the Math Lab is to look at your tracker. Let's say you and your mom are looking at your tracker and you notice that maybe decimals is a little tricky for you. You can go to the Math Lab and say to Coach Zach, hey, Coach Zach, will you explain decimals to me? Because I don't seem to understand them and I really need some help. That's two ways that you could use the Math Lab. Anyone else want to talk about the Math Lab that if you were in our program last year that used it? I would love to hear it. Coach Zach was in it last year. Coach Zach, what did you think about the Math Lab last year?
Yeah, no, the math lab was great. I think like just to explain it, like kind of what it looks like day to day. Mostly like if you need any help with any questions or like any of your assignments or you just want to work and like say like, okay, this is the time I'm gonna work on my math. The math lab's a great place to go and just like work on it, ask questions if you need help, and talk to everybody else that's working on their math. So it's a pretty good spot to get your math homework done.
And
Awesome.
Coach Zach, would you mind explaining how since everyone is working at their own level, right? I mean, it's there's people can come with any question, right? At any level, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you handle that? Like how do you field that? Say like 20, just paint a picture for us. Like 20 students show up and everybody has a question or does that not happen? Like everyone has
Yeah, I mean, usually we have like there's usually 10 to 15 students, and then there's me and another coach in there. And so essentially we'll split it up. We'll start out with anybody has any like questions on assignments that everybody's working on. But then typically we'll split it up into like two-ish groups between me and Coach Leah. And then we'll work individually with the student if they have a question on a problem, and then we'll just kind of work through it one on one. But if nobody has like any pressing questions that they need like at that time, we typically just kind of hang out and work on the stuff. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yes, that does. Thank you. And these are questions from their formative, right? Or from the lessons, from the assignments.
yeah, they can be from whatever they are. As long as they have a question about something, we can help them out. So
Awesome.
Yep, and Coach Zach and all of the coaches are co-teachers in formative in the classes. So if there's a question about a certain problem, they can go in and override scores. We'll figure that all out. You know, they can help you with that too if you have any questions. Okay, so that is the Math Lab. So we're going to move away from math now. So hopefully I've answered a lot of your questions about what math looks like, how to do the math lessons, how to turn in your assignments, and the Math Lab. So now let's talk about language arts. So language arts is also a standards-based language arts program where you will learn to read, write, and speak effectively. I know you already know how to speak effectively, but you're going to get to do presentations and record yourself doing it. So when you are in our language arts program, the first thing that I always want kids to notice is that we have our lessons are going to be Monday through Thursday, and we have Fridays as our assessments. So you're going to do a lesson Monday through Friday, but your actual like work and stuff is going to mostly be Monday through Thursday. Your lessons should take about 30 to 60 minutes depending on your grade level. If you're a third grader, it'll probably take you about 30 minutes. If you're an eighth grader, it's probably going to take you closer to 60. This also depends on how long it takes you to read different or read the section that is for the lesson, because you're going to be reading novels in levels 4 through 8. And so you'll have to do a reading for that day before you can do that assignment. So keep that in mind when you're gauging how long it's going to take you to do your lessons. There are around 2 assignments every single day. That is because each of our assignments, if you can see here on the left-hand side, they're divided by learning area. So you're going to have a reading section, and then you'll have a grammar and writing section. You might also have phonics and spelling if you're in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So there's a lot of different assignments in each section. So make sure you go through, you're going to complete a section and the assignment, then you can take a break, go get a snack, and then come back and do the next section. Language arts is really important that you are a self-governed learner because no one is going to be telling you to turn in these assignments each day. We are going to be turning in our assignments only on Fridays for our academic suite. So if you are in the coached plan, your student will be doing their assignments every single day. And then in our academic suite, they will be turning in those assignments on Fridays. The reason we turn in on Fridays is because what did I just say about the format of the lessons? We have assignments every single day. And then what's on Fridays, students?
Assessment.
Yeah, I heard. Caitlin, were you unmuting?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just saying that Fridays are the assessments.
You got it. You guys all got it. Fridays are the assessments. So the reason that we have you turn those in is it's going to tell us if you've been doing the work during the week. You won't do very well on the assessment if you haven't been doing the work during the week. Now, the first thing to note is that each of the units in levels 4 through 8 are built around novels. These are award-winning literature, and we use them as mentor texts. That just means we learn about writing style and author's purpose by using books. You will need to make sure that you have these books by the time school starts. The list of books is in your resources tab, but this is a few, just like a preview of some of my favorites that are in our level. If you haven't read The Hiding Place by Corey ten Boom, it's one of my favorites. The Secret Garden we read in level 4, and it is one of the most beautiful stories. And then The Notorious Benedict Arnold is for my friends who really love a good trader story. But you can get these on Amazon. You can get them from the library. I will say if you get them from the library, we do ask the students to highlight sometimes in the books and make sure that they don't do that. Any questions about how we set up language arts and the materials here that you need to make sure you order? Emily, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say that I already read The Hiding Place.
Oh, then you're going to really rock that unit if you're in that level.
She's ready.
She's
Melanie,
ready.
Lisa has a good question here. So, can you confirm again what they turn in on Fridays? Is it all of the work done that week, or is just that Thursday assignment?
So I have a slide for that. So if it's okay, I'm going to wait till I
Oh.
get to that slide. Is that okay?
Yes. No, that's okay. And can we
Okay.
ask a question about math just really quickly before we move on again?
Yeah, absolutely.
In informative, if they don't do well with the 2 chances that they have, is there a way to get more practice with different problems?
So it really is. There's actually, if they reach out to me, we can create practice sets for them, which are like flashcards. Formative has so many different resources. And if you want to reach out to me, if they don't do well after those 2, I can send you a bunch of resources to help with that. When I send the quarterly report, I'll send a lot of those resources as well that'll go along with those standards.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so with language arts, if you are in levels 6 through 8, you will see links to formative for your root word practice. Every day in your lessons, you're going to be making flashcards where you're going to be learning Greek and Latin roots. Greek and Latin roots are in a lot of the words that we use in our English language. And so once you know a lot of these Greek and Latin roots, you are going to know so many words because they are in a lot. But we have assessments built in. And so the assessments are digital and you'll be able to do those in formative. If you don't want to do them digitally, they're also available paper pencil. So now let's talk about submitting assignments. So for language arts, Camden, before I move on, did you have a question? Do you have a question, Camden?
Sorry,
Okay. That's okay.
I accidentally muted myself. But is it labeled as LA level 6 root words?
It sure is.
Okay.
You'll see the same thing as it is in math. It'll say online practice, offline practice.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so when you're in language arts, every Friday, you will see in the platform where to turn in your assignments. And it will look like this part you see here at the bottom, and it'll be in each section. So it will say reading, and you'll be doing your reading assignment. And at the very bottom of reading, it will say the assignment, and you'll click on it to make this pop up. There will be instructions. Sometimes the instructions, like for language arts, we put them in the lesson. So sometimes it might be in the lesson, sometimes it might be in the assignment. You can let us know which is more helpful for you. But then you'll be able to upload the file for that assignment right there in the lesson. There's a few different file types that it's going to allow. If it's a worksheet, you can turn in a picture of the worksheet. You can turn in a scan of the worksheet. It will accept PDF, a doc file, a JPEG, HEIC if you take a picture with your iPhone, a lot of different file types for just worksheets. Same thing if you're doing work in your notebook. The writing notebook is just a composition notebook where the students are doing their writing assignments. So you can just take a picture with your phone and they can upload it that way, or you can scan it and send it that way as well. Either one is fine. For some of our unit projects, it might be a video. Remember the part where I talked about, we talk about speaking and listening? You might be presenting a project that you've been working on throughout a unit. So it might be a video of you presenting that project, or it might be a PowerPoint that you've created. So all of those different files will be noted and you will just upload it right inside the modal. For level 3 students, we are going to have you turn in your assignments 2 days a week. In level 3, the only assessment on Friday is a spelling test. And we wanted to actually have a little bit more idea of how well the kids were doing. So if you have a 3rd grade student, you'll turn in Wednesday and Friday assignments. But if you're in that class, you'll come to the review class with me and I'll remind you of that. Those assignments that you turn in will be graded by a language arts teacher. So those teachers that are teaching the review class are the same ones that are grading the assignments. These are highly qualified teachers that are going to be giving you feedback so that you can learn. Remember, the goal is always your learning. So it's not going to be a lot of red pens or anything. It's going to be asking you to maybe improve certain things to help your score, but the idea is for you to learn. Any questions about turning in language arts assignments?
Yes, Melanie, we have a question. I think Lisa gets an award for asking great questions throughout
Yay,
all of
Lisa!
this. So
I'm going to have her come to all of my webinars.
yes, you should actually. So the are those worksheets available in the resources to print as well?
Correct. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, they are all in the resources. They're linked in the lesson. I think we have them like 3 different places: print shop, resources, linked in the lesson. So you will have access lots of places for them.
Okay, and then time frame for turning in on Friday?
So our goal is by the end of the day, Friday. So our coaches are probably going to be looking at them between that Friday and the next Friday to grade. So students should get their assignments back to them before the next language arts class, depending on the size of the class. If it's a very small class, I would imagine you'd have all of your assignments returned to you by Monday or Tuesday of the next week. But make sure students have turned in those assignments, I would say by midnight, but I hope you're not staying up till midnight, students. By 9 o'clock, because your bedtime is 8:30. Okay, great. And I wanted to know, if you were looking very closely at that grading, character core assignments are turned in the exact same way. They're also turned in on Fridays. Moms, we really wanted to make this as simple as possible for you, that you only had to think of like one day when everything needed to be turned in. So Fridays are your day. Unless you're a 3rd grader, turn it in Wednesday too. But your character core assignments will be due on Friday. Your language arts assignments will also be due on Friday. Language arts assignments will be turned in the exact same way as character core will be turned in the exact same way as language arts. Okay? If you don't see this in your platform now, that's because it is coming. No one is starting any of this till next week, so we didn't want people turning things in. So you should start seeing it in the platform next week. Okay, my favorite part. I hope you guys will all come to the language arts review class. This is brand new this year. And this class will be Fridays at 9:30 in the morning. Before your students come to class, make sure they either do their spelling test or their root word assessment on their own. We're not going to waste time doing any of those kind of assessments in class. But what we are going to do is review all of the concepts that they learned during the week. We're going to do fun games like this Jeopardy game. We're going to do interactive discussions where we talk about inference with the novel that they read that week. We're going to talk about faith and values connections that connect to those quality pieces of literature that they've been reading. In the past, the kids have told us that they really wanted to talk about the books with their friends. So we can talk about it like it's an elevated book club that's led by a teacher. It's really a lot of fun. The teachers that are going to be guiding the discussions have slide decks. They have these activities. It's not going to be like the math lab where they're just doing their homework. It's actually a little bit more structured. The students will be completing some of the assignments in class. So if you are looking at those Friday assignments and thinking, if I go to the Friday 9:30 class, I might get that done. That is a correct thought because we have built some of those in and you get to do it as a group and then you can turn it in and it's already completed. So that's a bonus to coming to the Friday class. Any questions about the Friday language arts review class? Other than yes, everyone's coming. Camden, what's your question?
I probably didn't hear it, but where do we access this?
It will be in your dashboard just like your character core class, and it will show up and just say language arts review class, and you click in it to join.
Okay.
And I have a comment to what Coach Melanie said about these are well prepared teachers and coaches. Several have master's degrees. I'm just going to put in that plug of English and education and instruction, and several have taught for years and years. We have one teacher who taught 4th grade for 9 years at American Heritage School, and she will now be teaching that same grade here.
Yep.
So these are I'm excited about these. I wish I could come to these too, Melanie.
Yes, I am too. I think this is like the payday for we develop a lot of the curriculum and we miss working with the students. And so we are super excited because I'm going to do a little demo video. You get to meet everybody and you'll see my face first. So please ignore so hard. I'm not as good as Coach Shantae on camera, you guys. You won't see me on any other videos, but here's a little preview.
Hey everyone, my name is Coach Melanie and I'm going to be your level 3 language arts review class teacher this year. I'm really excited to get to know you and to meet you in class. We're going to be reviewing all of the concepts that you've learned throughout the week. We'll go over the things that feel tricky and we'll talk about all the different things that you're learning. One interesting fact about me is that I love to go hiking. In Utah, this is a lot of fun because there's a lot of places to hike. But my favorite hike was when I hiked the Grand Canyon. In fact, I hiked from the North Rim all the way to the South Rim in one day. I hope I see you in class.
My name is Jack. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia originally, and I have a background as an opera singer. Hour-long class that we'll have each week will be an opportunity for you to get help on the lesson and just generally be a review. My favorite thing about language arts is that a good story can completely change your perspective and open your mind to consider new things.
Hello, friends. My name is Amanda Pugh, and I am going to be your 4th grade language arts coach this year. And I live in this beautiful city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and it's so much fun. I love it. I love 4th grade. In fact, I used to teach 4th grade at American Heritage School in American Fork, Utah, and I taught there for 9 years. So we are going to have a great time this year.
Hello, my name is Angelica, and I'll be teaching 7th grade class for American Heritage Worldwide in our new pilot program. A fun fact about me is that I have a cat who will occasionally be popping up in class, and I also have a snake. I'm Miss Pugh. I joined the military right out of high school. I'm neurodivergent and I love drama and music. But this class isn't about me, it's about you and your ability to express yourself to the world, because that's what language arts helps you to do. In this class, we're going to go over our lessons for the week. You guys are going to talk about what you've learned, and then I'll give you any help that you might want or need.
My name is Emily Pinkhauser, and I am teaching Level 6 Language Arts live classes this year. And we have a lot of fun books and poems and articles that we will read throughout the year. One of my all-time favorite books is The Witch of Blackbird Pond, which we get to start our year off with. So I'm excited about that. During these live classes, we will have discussions and have lots of different ways to participate that will hopefully be more engaging and less pressure than your regular classroom setting. We get to play games, we get to review language arts concepts that you've learned throughout the week. And what I'm most excited for is we get to apply those concepts that we've learned about in our books to our lives and talk about the important things to us. I hope to see you guys all in class.
Isn't that so fun? I'm so excited. So our academic suite students will get to meet those teachers. We hope to see you in class. It's completely optional. You don't need to come to class, but we do feel like it will be very beneficial if your students do come. Okay.
Melanie, do you mind? There's a few good questions that have come in on the chat.
Great.
Can assignments be turned in ahead of time?
I would imagine, yes. They will only be linked to that Friday lesson. So if you're going out of town and you want to turn an assignment in early, you just go to that lesson and turn it in. It's available for you to upload at any time.
Okay, and then for the Friday class, the spelling test and root word assessments must be completed and turned in before class?
Any time that Friday. They're just not going to be done in class. So just make sure you do those on your own.
Okay, that's and then are the Friday classes recorded? Sorry, I can answer that one. They're not. They're not shared. There are no recordings and shared. So
yeah, no recordings or sharing, and that's yeah, that's the same with character core as well.
okay, and then Brittany has a question about the Friday LA lessons. You might understand it better than I do. Sorry, I'm still wrapping my head around all this as well. But so the Friday language arts lesson is done during every day or only some? And sorry, is done during every class or only some?
Let me make sure I understand the question. So the assignments for the Friday, are they all done in class? Is that the question?
Yeah. Hey, Brittany, do you want to unmute?
Sorry, my husband's working at the same time. So Fridays, I was wondering if the lesson that's the Friday lesson is done every Friday during that time or only some Fridays?
So sometimes it will include the lesson, the assignment for that day, not always. Some of them that are assessments we didn't want to include. So if it's something we really want to see if the kids understand, it may not be done in the class. But some of the other more interactive ones, like if it's just a worksheet that they're practicing something, that would be done in class. Writing assignments are never done in class because we want the kids to take their time in their writing and we don't want them to feel rushed. We might do some brainstorming activities in the class, but then the student would finish the class and go do their writing. Does that help?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So basically, if there's worksheets on a Friday, we will try to do those in the class so the students don't have to do those outside. Okay, I want to be respectful of your time, so I'm going to kind of rush through these a little bit, but feel free to ask questions. Our STAR assessment is our standardized growth assessment that we offer. This is first offered to our academic suite, but as I mentioned, we have quite a few seats. So if there are seats left over and you're a coached plan student, then please get on that waiting list because these are really beneficial. They are offered 2 or 3 times a year, and your students just take them at home. They can log in with you monitoring the assessment, or I can monitor the assessment. This is the one time, students, that this is a test. We don't use any outside resources when we take the STAR assessment because it measures your mastery of the standards and your growth throughout the year. Each time you take it, I will send you this report that's on the left-hand side, and it will show you the different areas that your student's doing well in and the different areas that your student might need support in. And I feel like this is the hardest part, like when you're homeschooling your kids and you just want to make sure that they're learning all the things that they need. And now we have 2 academic supports for you to help with this. The first is going to be those formatives, where you can look at their tracker and see which standards that they need support with. And then the second is the STAR assessment. They can get this report where you can just really dial in on the different areas that your child needs help with. That way you're not wasting time going over all the different lessons, because sometimes you're like, I know they're struggling, but I'm not exactly sure what part of that they don't understand. And that's where the STAR assessment is really, really helpful. Are there any questions about the STAR before I move on? Okay. We are done. So I just want to make sure we have met all of our objectives for today. So hopefully everybody now understands how to enroll their students in math and language arts. And this includes needing to be able to switch their class. If you start language arts next week and it feels too hard, you feel like the assignments are too much, you can switch to a different level. All you need to do is drop the class and enroll in a different level, and that's pretty easy to do. Second is how to complete a placement assessment. Remember, we dropped the link to those language arts assessments, and then the math assessments are in the platform as a course. These are not mandatory. And again, you know your students the best. They are just there to kind of help you as a support if you are new to our program. We went over how to create a formative account, but we know there might be bugs. So please email me or Coach Shantae, and we will help you make sure that that formative account is set. The next is how to use the printed curriculum. If you want your student offline for a little while, make sure you grab those lesson books. We have the Monday to Wednesday math lab to help your students with math, and that weekly language arts review class that's really going to help your kids in language arts this year. And then don't forget about our upcoming STAR assessments and academic supports. That STAR assessment I put here will open October 12th, and it's all the way open. Your student can take it anytime between October 12th and November 7th. So that information will be coming, how to log in, all of that will be coming in an email.